Hi guys, welcome to LoveTech. Today we are going to learn about JSP life cycle. Guys, this is very much important. It is mostly asked in the examination because it contains a servlet life cycle as well. So rather than asking the servlet, it will ask the examiner will ask the superior of the servlet, which is a JSP. And if you have not subscribed my channel, please do like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get the recent notifications of my new videos. Okay, so rather than not wasting your time, we will start with the JSP lifecycle. When the client browser request for a particular JSP page, the server in turn sends a request to the JSP engine. Guys, this JSP engine is the major part in the JSP lifecycle because what it does, it handles the client request, it processes the client request, it checks whether the the request which is sent for the particular JSP page, it is related to the JSP page or not, and if then according to the response, then it is sending the response to the client again. So JSP engine is a part of a web container that compiles a JSP page to a servlet. It is a part of the web container which compiles a JSP page to a servlet. As we know, before the JSP page processing, JSP page must be converted to the servlet for the processing. Okay, so right now we are going to see the flow of the events that is occurring after the client request for a JSP page. First of all, we will see the request response life cycle of the JSP page. So here is the JSP page request response lifecycle. There is a browser which is our client. It sends the request to the web container. Web container contains what? It contains the JSP engine. Now when the request comes, it will check to ensure if the call to JSP is first of its kind or not. If yes, then servlet generation and the recompilation will be done and response will be sent back to the web container, and if not, then the servlet will be reloaded and the response will be sent back to the web container, and according to that response will be sent to the client, which is our browser. Okay, so the request response cycle essentially comprises of the two phases. There are mainly two phases. First one is the translation phase and the another one is the request processing phase. The translation phase is implemented by the JSP engine and involves what? Involves the generation of the servlet. So basically what is done in the translation phase, a JSP page is converted to the servlet. Internally, this results in the creation of the class file for the JSP page, and that implements the servlet interface. Now during the request processing phase, the response is generated according to the request specifications. Okay, here we have seen, look, here we have seen that it is checking to ensure the call to JSP is first of its kind, and according to the request, the response is generated whether it is yes or whether it is no. So according to that, the response will be generated, and after the servlet is loaded for the first time, it remains active, processes all the subsequent requests, and saves time that would otherwise be lost in the reloading the servlet at each time. So this is a major advantage of the JSP page. Okay, so now this is the life cycle of the JSP. There are 7 phases in the life cycle of the JSP. It will start from the translation phase, then the compilation phase, loading servlet phase, servlet class, creating servlet instance, initialization by calling JSP init method, request processing by calling JSP service method, and the last one is the destroying by calling JSP destroy method. Basically, if you have known the servlet lifecycle, then you will find similarly that 5th, 6th, and 7th phase are similarly of the servlet lifecycle. From there, it will be converted. It will be starting the servlet lifecycle. Before that, there is some kind of processing that we need to know. We will see detail of all these phases. Okay, this is an example of the JSP page, how it is converted. We will see it later on. Okay, so here is the translation phase, which is the first phase. Okay, JSP page doesn't look like a normal Java classes. Actually, JSP container parse the JSP pages and translate them to generate the corresponding servlet source code. If the JSP file name is home.jsp, then usually it is named as home_jsp.java, which is our servlet class. That is which is our servlet file, you can say, and which is converted from the home.jsp file. Now the compilation will be done. If the translation is successful, the container compiles the generated servlet source file to generate class file. Okay, so first of all, it's the translation phase in which the JSP file will be converted to the servlet file. Now compilation file, in the compilation phase, what will be done, the servlet file will be converted to the class file. In the third phase, it is a class loading. As the name suggests, in this phase JSP compiled servlet class will be loaded in the memory. And the fourth one is the instance creation. After the JSP class is loaded into the memory, its object is instantiated by the container. Now we are going to see fifth event, that is initialization. JSP underscore init. JSP underscore init is the method that is called for initialization. The JSP class is then initialized and it transforms from a normal class to a servlet. After the initialization, servlet config and servlet context objects become accessible to JSP class. Okay, so as you can see, in the initialized, and it transforms from a normal class to a servlet. Okay, and after initialization, it will be accessed by servlet config and servlet context objects. Now sixth phase is the request processing. JSP underscore service. And if you don't know, over here in the fifth phase, servlet config and servlet context, if you don't know, I will make a video about that as well, servlet context and servlet config, and I will show you practically that how does it work. So you can check that video out, that what is the servlet config and servlet context, what is the difference between both of them, and why it is used. So coming back to the request processing, for every client request, a new thread is spawned with the servlet request and servlet response to process and generate the HTML response. So if you know the servlet lifecycle, you will be knowing that knowing this familiar, because in the servlet, what happens whenever the request come, for each and every request, a new thread is spawned. Okay, and every thread is handling individual request. So that's why it is making the servlet works faster. Okay, and the last one is the destroy. That is a JSP underscore destroy method. The last phase of the JSP lifecycle, as the name suggests, where it is unloaded from the memory. Okay, so these methods must be seen in the details, so we are going to see details. Okay, so first one is a JSP init method. It is declared in the JSP page interface. Guys, you must know that the JSP init method, JSP service method, and JSP destroy method, these all three methods are declared inside the JSP page interface. Okay, so JSP init method is called only once. As we all know, initialization and destruction only done in once in the lifecycle, in any lifecycle, such as in servlet lifecycle, in JSP lifecycle, or in the JSF lifecycle. All the lifecycle, init and destroy method will be called only once. So this method is invoked at the time when the servlet is initialized. Okay, so we can declare any kind of variables, or you can say database connections can be done in this. So that's why it is used. In the JSP service method, what is happening, there are two parameters passed as request and response. Okay, and it handles the request of which is coming from the client and sends back the response according to the request. JSP destroy method, this is the most easiest method, because as the name suggests, it is just using to unload the JSP from a memory. Okay, it will be also called only once. You can specify the closing the database connection, or other closing tasks, or file closing tasks. Okay, those kind of tasks can be performed in the JSP destroy method. I hope you would have understood this. If you have not, please feel free to ask me in comment section. I would be happier to answer you individually for that. I will be do my best to give you best content from my side. Okay, so before going to this example, I would like to show you that this example. So this is the understanding of how the JSP lifecycle works. So as you can see here, it is a hello.jsp page. Okay, so first of all, you have to notice over here that it is a web server and here is a web container. Okay, first of all, when the request comes, hello.jsp will be called. Hello.jsp, there is a request for hello.jsp. Now the step one is what? Converting from JSP to Java, means a servlet phase. Okay, so hello underscore JSP dot Java, this is our servlet file. Now step 2, converting this servlet to the class, it means hello underscore JSP dot class. Now If it is successfully converted to the class file, now the instance creation will be done in the step 4 inside the web container over here. Okay, after this method, obviously all three methods will be called JSP init, JSP service, and JSP destroy. All of these methods will be called inside the web container. Okay, I hope you would have got it. This is very much easy for you to understand. Okay, and now I'm going to show you that how the JSP file looks when it is converted from the JSP to the servlet. Okay, so this is our JSP page. As you can see, this is our JSP page. There is a count, it is basic program, that is there is a count, and page count is out.println plus plus count. I have incremented the count. Okay, so this is how the JSP page looks, and when it is converted from the JSP page to the servlet, this is looking like a servlet. Okay, so this will be look like this, and process will be done according to the request and response. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you would have liked it, and you would have understood whatever I have said. So do best in your exam. I hope I wish you a good luck, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. And right now there is a pandemic is going on, if you so that's better for you. So stay home, stay safe. Okay, goodbye.